Hello, welcome to another episode of VFX Tools. My name is Victor, and we're going to go through this tutorial. And in this tutorial, we're going to learn how to create the bond effect. I mean, more like the paper bond effect. Although we have a test dummy, which happens not to be a paper, but we'll be happy to make use of that and actually showing you how this thing works. Because using this particular effect, there are a lot of variations you can create. For example, you can create the low-key bond effect, or you can literally create like things burning out of the sky effect, or a map getting burnt, or a book getting burnt. This effect is widely used in movies and commercials and a lot of things. So you could literally make those effects once you know the basics in After Effects. So without wasting much of our time, let's get into After Effects. Yeah, I've got the sample of the video you just watched, and you can see that we've made a very accurate bond effect. My laptop is lagging, so this can be a bit slow. So you can see that the fire starts from somewhere just like a spark, and before we know it, it's spread, continues spreading, and boom, almost everything is gone. We already have puff of smokes as evidence of this burning material. So this is a very not simple effect, but if you follow me to the core, I believe that we can still be able to get this. So I'm gonna call this burn. This is the main composition, and I'm going to need to actually correct this. This is supposed to be 1920 by 1080p. Great, we've got that. So the first thing we're going to have to do is to create a composition of the text or image that we wish to use. I've got this image dummy here, this same image dummy, and I'm going to pre-compose it. I'm going to move all the attributes into the new composition. I'm going to call this bond img. Img stands for image, and so that's it. Then I'm going to actually have to create another composition, a new composition. I'm going to call this one the bond mat. Okay, so we have the bond and we also have the bond mat. So now into this bond mat, we're going to import this bond img into the bond mat, and so we've got this. Then the first thing we are going to do is select the bond img. So the first thing we're going to have to do is to add a Gaussian blur. Okay, sorry about that. Gaussian blur. I'm gonna set the blurriness to 38.3. Wow, that's too blurry. Then we're gonna create a new layer, a new solid layer, and we're gonna call it fractal noise. I think that effect sounds familiar. Fractal noise, and we're going to add the fractal noise effect. We're going to add the fractal noise effect on it, and we're going to have a bit of some scale. Go to transform, and we're going to scale this to 180.4, and so we have that. Then we'll also actually have to increase the complexity to 6. Then ensure that the subsettings, the sub-influence is 70 and the subscaling is 56. Then we're going to set the blending to overlay. Wow, that's a bit too white. Then we're also going to create a new layer, a new solid layer, and we're going to call this burn. No, let's call it real burn, because this is where we're going to actually compose the real burn itself. Then we're going to add the CC bond film effect. As I put this, if you play this, we see nothing, but that's where we're actually going to have to keyframe this. From 0 to 100, I'm going to set the keyframe, and I'm going to go to something like 2. I'm going to set this to 100, and if we scroll back, you can see that we have a bit of our bond effect, which is quite impressive. And the next thing we're going to do is to actually add a solid composite. We're going to add a solid composite to the real bond, and we're going to set the effect to black. So we have this kind of effect, which is cool. Then we're going to create a new adjustment layer, and in the new adjustment layer we're going to add brightness and contrast effect. Yeah, that's the color correction. Sorry about that. Color correction, brightness and contrast effect. And the brightness is 0. Set the contrast to 86 and tick use legacy. Great, so we have a very good effect there. So now we're going to go back to this original composition, this bond composition. We've got our bond image and we've got our bond matte. Okay, and so in this overall composition that we actually have the bond img and the bond matte, we're going to actually have to create a new composition. Let's create a composition, let's call it overall. And in this overall composition we're going to add the bond, in this overall composition we're going to actually have to add the bond img and the bond matte. Okay, and so when we add both of them, we are going to actually put the bond matte at the top and put the bond img at the bottom, and then we're going to toggle switch mode if you cannot find this stuff here, and we're going to luma matte the bond matte. So I think we have this. So this is our first intro to the bond effect, and this is looking pretty awesome. So now the next thing we are going to do is that for the bond matte, we're going to add a fast blur effect. The fast box blur effect. We're going to add it to the bond matte, and we're going to set the blur radius to 7. Then we're also going to add a levels effect, and we're going to set the gamma to 0.43. okay, that's good. Then we're actually going to do something funny. Then for the original bond img, we're going to add an effect known as set matte. And in the set matte, we're going to actually take the matte. We're going to set the bond matte as the layer for the set matte, and then we're going to use the matte for luminance, and we still have this overall effect, which is cool, and I mean very okay. And so after doing that, we're going to duplicate the bond matte layer, and we're going to name it the fire. We're going to create a fire that's going to burn everything, and then we're going to add the invert effect, place it on the fire layer. After adding the invert effect, ensure that the channel is set to RGB. Please ensure that you actually delete all these box blur and levels at first, because if you don't, it's gonna cause some things. So we have the invert. Then we're gonna actually add a turbulent displays to the fire, and in turbulent display we're gonna set the displacement to turbulent, and we're gonna set the amount to -450. So you have this weird cranky effect, and we're gonna set the size to 18. Okay, which, I mean, this thing looks good like a splatter. Then we're gonna add a CC composite effect. Then after the CC composite effect, we're gonna set the opacity to 100, set the composite original to multiply, and we're gonna set the RGB only. We're gonna tick the RGB only. Then after that, we're going to actually add a fractal noise effect to the fire. And this fractal noise effect, we're going to put the contrast to 194. Then we're going to set the brightness to -29, the complexity to 6, and then this evolution, we're going to press Alt and click on the stopwatch icon. I'm going to type in the following expression: time asterisk 1500. Okay, 1500, and then we're going to add, okay, I'm going to scroll this up and close this a bit. We're going to add the set matte effect, and in the set matte effect, we're going to set the set matte to the bond matte again. Okay, and then we're going to use this for the alpha channel. So I believe that's all for that particular aspect, right? I think that's all. But you know, to make things even much more visible, we're going to add a tritone effect. And this tritone effect, we're going to set this one to yellow. We're going to set the midtones to orange, and I'm going to set the shadow to black. So we have something like this, but the question is, how are we going to be able to use this to create something impressive? So I think the first thing we are meant to do is to set this. I made a mistake in this set matte. So I'm going to set this to the bond img instead. Set matte under the fire, set to the bond img. Okay. Okay, so I believe that there's some things what we need to actually put in place. First of all, set the fractal noise to multiply. Okay, I'm going to set the fire to add. Okay, so we have this amazing bonding effect. We've gotten the bonding effect already, but we need to make it to look more realistic and much more effective. So come back to the bond matte, set the real bond to soft light, and set the fractal noise to soft light. Or better still, don't set it to soft light yet. So, okay, let's put this one back to normal. We're only going to set the fractal noise to soft light so that the overall could look chilling and amazing. The next thing we're going to do is to create the smoke layer. And to create the smoke layer, it's pretty much simple. Duplicate the fire layer and rename it to smoke layer. To rename something, you can just click on it and click enter. It's going to help you to rename it, and you can type in what you want to rename. Then for the smoke layer, we're going to add some bunch of effects. First of all, we're going to actually have to delete all these effects. So I'm going to select all the effects and I'm going to delete them. Press Ctrl A and backspace. So we have only the smoke effect here, and with the smoke effect you can still do something very good. We're going to add the CC white time effect. The CC white time effect, yeah, allows you to actually remap things very well. And we're going to set the forward to 55, and we're going to set the backward to 22. So we have this kind of effect. Then we're going to set matte. Add the set matte effect, and this time we're going to select the bond image itself. Then we're going to set to alpha channel. Then we're going to add another set matte again. Then we're going to use the smoke layer effect this time around, and we're going to set the matte to luminance. Okay, Then we're going to actually check the invert matte, and we get this kind of smoky kind of effect, and it looks a bit cool. So we're going to actually add a fast box blur effect, and using the fast box blur effect, we're going to set the blur radius to 15. I'm going to check repeat edge pixels, and we're going to add some bit of some change. So we add a bit of some blur on this side. Then we're going to add a solid composite effect. With the solid composite effect, set it to black as usual. And okay, and we're going to finally add a fractal noise effect. Okay, and with fractal noise effect, we're going to set the scale. Go to the transform. We're going to set the scale to 121, and we're going to do what we did to the other evolution the other time. Press Alt and press the keyframe all together, and we're going to type in the expression time asterisk 1500, and okay, so we have this kind of effect. This actually allows you to do this kind of effect, and we're going to set the blending mode of it to multiply, and so we have this smoky kind of effect. Then we're actually going to set the blending mode of the smoke layer to add, is already at add, and I'm going to move it right below the fire layer, so it could give us something like an effect like this. So let's check the composition and look at it. We've gone a long way from the bond matte to the overall, and we've created a very, very good and amazing kind of look. This looks generic, this looks straightforward. This is very, very amazing. We've created something good. So that's all for you to know about the paper bonding effect. And we've used a bit of our text dummy, and the truth is that you can actually change the things that you have actually put in this bond img. I mean, if I don't want a gamepad, if I want something good, I can just change it to something good. Okay, coming. Okay, so I think I've got some PNG files that I really want to try out. So I want a burning pizza. Okay, I'm gonna put it here, copy it here, and it's going to load. So I can just put this here and minimize this. Then we're gonna scale this back a bit, just like this. And if I go back to the overall, we see that the fact that we could literally have this burning effect even on the pizza itself. This is a very cool effect you can add for your movies, or for any short movies you want to do, or for any fantasy magic movies you want to do. And if you want the Loki, to add Loki special, you can just put like a more of like you can add it as a matte layer. We're going to duplicate this layer, turn it into something like a shape, add the matte layer, put maybe orange background, and put the burn effect, and show that you can even make the Loki effect even more easily with this effect. Just have to disable the smoke layer and some few other things, and things will go very great. So I believe that's all you have to know about how to create the paper burn effect. Thank you for staying very long with me, and I wish you the very best of this amazing weekend. That's all for now. You can follow us on Facebook, on Twitter, or X, or Instagram. Please and please, we need to follow us, and please need to support us in whatever way you can support us. We're not asking for Patreon. Please share the show with your friends, and we're glad to hear your view back. Thanks so much. Goodbye, and please stay safe.